Shared decision making. Nobody's talking about these things. They're not talking about shared decision making. And it's like, that means that you're not the decision maker by yourself. That means that that patient has a say so, y'all actually doing it together. Hey guys, Kim here, and you are tuned into Kim E, the Diabetes MP, a place where healthcare professionals can come and learn more about diabetes education and management. Now, if you are watching this video now, this is the second installment of a series that I'm going to do throughout the month of December. I am going to really sit down and unpack for us what proper patient and provider engagement is. We can use that word and then lose the meaning behind it. So if you have not watched the previous video, I would suggest that you go back and watch that one, because I really defined what patient engagement is, as well as what patient activation is, and how honestly that's actually what we're trying to do. We're actually trying to activate our patients. Now, patient engagement is the broader umbrella term, but when we use that term, we must understand that with engagement, it doesn't just fall on the patient. It's an interdependent relationship. We are helping and equipping our patients so they can be activated to take an active role in their care, right? Activation, active. Okay. So anyways, what I would like to talk about today is, why should we even pay attention to this? Why is this even a thing? And the reason why I want to say this is because for some years now, I've had my brand. I've had my online brand, Kim E, the Diabetes MP. And then offline, I have also had my consulting business, my education consulting business, Ellis Diabetes Education and Consulting. And I have put out courses. I have helped design curriculum for organizations. I've answered lots of questions. I've been on media outlets and just have talked to a lot of people about diabetes management. I get a lot of questions. And even in my 9-to-5 job, I am a subject matter expert. I'm on the education team, the MP education team. So, we do micro learnings, and I've always been in a position or a role to be the educator, right? And so one thing that I find is that we're so focused on rushing to the medications, right? Well, just tell me what medicine I need to use, okay? Okay, after metformin, what's the next one? And I'm like, yeah, these are questions that we do need to ask. But I often find the problem is not the medications or the treatment. If you have not properly engaged your patient, they're not going to care about any treatment that you have, if they even show up to your office. If we don't get this right, we won't even get to the other stuff. We won't get to, having to get them the new medication, because we won't have butts and seats, okay? And one of the things that I noticed, especially during COVID, I worked with a number of public health organizations and helping with their education and their in-service education for their employees. And I got this question a lot, something I was not thinking, because me, myself, coming on and wanting to talk about all things diabetes, but then I found that they were having a lot of issues with getting their patients to come back into the office during COVID. We had to do a lot of stuff remote. There were a lot of people that transitioned into telehealth, and some people couldn't get their patients to come back in person when the doors started to open back up. And as I dug a little deeper and, had some deeper conversations with the organization's leaders and also their employees, I realized the issue was the engagement, the way that you engage our patients. And one thing that I will say is, I said it in the last video, and I'm saying it here. Engagement is, I hate really when we say patient engagement, because it really comes off as if it's all on the shoulders of the patient. Like, how do I get my patient to engage? Well, my question to that is, I'll answer that with a question is, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? How are you engaging? Do you believe in the treatment plan that you created? Are you excited about it? Because people feel the vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's not, if you are coming to the encounter and you're not convinced that this is going to help the patient, why should they buy into it? It's their body. You know what I'm saying? I know probably many of us have probably heard that. Well, I can do what I want to with my body. Well, you're right. You can. And so part of that is how we approach the encounter. And I mentioned that in the last video. So when we're thinking about why we should pay attention to this, why this is important, is because this is where it starts. If you are not properly engaging your patient initially and then maintaining that engagement, which in essence, if we're really talking, it's really just building a relationship, a trusting and an open relationship with your patients, right? You know, people want to be around. They're going to come to you when they trust you. They're going to come to you when they know you. They're going to come to you when they feel like you care about what's happening to them, that you hear them. That when they say, I don't want to do this treatment, you don't force them into doing something. You say, okay, well, let's talk about that. Let's think through that. Well, for one, why don't you want to do it? You know, because maybe there's a misconception or misinformation that we need to rebuttal, right? We may need to do that, you know? And so that is the reason why we should lean into it, because without it, we have no practice. Without it, we have no patients to see. And so when it is effective, because that's the goal, we want it to be effective. When we effectively achieve engagement, it's going to be patient-centered or person-centered. I actually like to use the phrase, you know, and again, this is a chemism, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody, this is no, to me, I feel like words mean things. Okay. I've said it. I'm going to say it again. They mean things. And so you have to choose your wording properly, because they evoke emotions, they evoke feelings, and then that can evoke thoughts and then actions. And so words, they're important. So for me, I actually like to use the word person-centered, because it just doesn't, it's not just putting our patients in a box of that they're just patients, or that they're just clients, or they're just customers. No, you're a person. You're a whole person. Like, you're just not a patient. You are you. You know what I'm saying? And so when it's person-centered, I'm looking at your whole person. And so it's not only person-centered, but it's collaborative. So we've been talking about that, right? So I am asking you, okay, you don't want to do that. Okay, I'm not in the business of telling grown people what to do. I've just recently had a couple of conversations. Had a conversation with my sister, who's also a nurse practitioner, but then I was having a conversation with one of my assistants, and at my 9 to 5, and I was telling her, we're not in the business of convincing or telling grown people what to do. That's not, you know, I know I'm in an authority space, but at the same time, I respect humanity. I respect that this is a person who has all their devices. Therefore, you can make an educated decision. My job is not to convince you. My job is to make sure that you are equipped and that you have all the tools. And I think we have to shift our focus and our mindset there, right? So what is person-centered and collaborative? What would that actually look like? Well, it will be guided by shared decision-making and monitoring in treatment selection, in facilitation of any type of medical and psychosocial needs. So that means that we're sharing that decision with them. Shared decision making. Nobody's talking about these things. They're not talking about shared decision making. And it's like, that means that you're not the decision maker by yourself. That means that that patient has a say-so, y'all actually doing it together. So you make the decision and you decide how we're going to go about the treatment together. Shared responsibility. That's what that is, okay? So also, you know, paying attention to our engagement, you know, effective engagement, it achieves what we call the quadruple aim of improved health outcomes. So for those who don't know what the quadruple aim of healthcare is, it's actually an expansion from what the triple aim used to be. Now it's, instead of 3 points, we have 4. Okay. So what it used to be was better outcomes, lower cost of care, improved patient experience. That was what the triple That's what the triple aim was. But who was left out of that equation? Us, the providers. So not only should there be an improved patient experience, there also should be an improved provider and staff experience. And when all of these things are working together, we have better health outcomes. We have improved provider and staff experience, improved patient experience that will lead to better health outcomes that will lower our healthcare costs. All of those things working together, we will then be able to achieve the effective, with that effective patient engagement, we will be able to achieve this quadruple aim. So I'm going to stop right there, because next week we're going to talk about what that whole person care should look like. Patient engagement is achieved when the care is not only patient-centered, person-centered, whole person-centered, and collaborative. And part of that is being culturally responsive. And for me, I like to use culturally responsive care. And so on the next video, I'm going to explain to you why I believe that is a better term than what we tend to use is culturally awareness, cultural competent care. I again, words do mean things. So with that being said, thank you guys for coming in and sitting here with me. We've been going over what is patient engagement, why is it important, why should we even care as healthcare professionals, and you have been sitting here with this Lunch and Learn. If you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so when I post any video, you know when I'm doing it, okay? You're telling the algorithm, I am interested in what she has to post, so please let me know, okay? And I will be back here next week, same time, same place. Again, you've been sitting here with Kim E, the Diabetes MP. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.